So the question is, can you treat the absolute value signs like you treat parentheses? No. Parentheses are different. Absolute value is an operation. So our job is to get the absolute value on one side by itself. So anything that's directly in front of it being added to it, we need to get rid of before we set it into two separate things. So this -2 is in front, which means it's -2 times the absolute value of 3a. So what is the inverse of multiplying by -2? Dividing by -2. So we're going to divide both sides by -2. And then I'm left with the absolute value of 3a equals, what is 6 divided by -2? -3. So, anytime you have something that's in front of it, behind it, being added to it, whatever, you guys, you have to get rid of it first. You cannot distribute it like it's a parenthesis, because absolute value is an operation. You just can't multiply. So now here's my question. This looks like number 1, example number 1. 3a equals -3. Is there any way that you can take the absolute value of something and get -3? Can the absolute value of a number equal negative? So what that means is, if you end up, it doesn't matter what is inside, it's the absolute value, right? Can it equal a negative number? No, it can't. So this is not possible. So there are no real solutions, or no real solution. Again, the reason that is because absolute value is distance. Distance is always positive. Absolute value cannot equal a negative number. Are there any questions about what I just did? Okay. We have the absolute value of 4b plus 1 plus 8 equals 0. So the absolute value of 4b plus 1 plus 8. You want to get the absolute value so it's by itself. You don't want anything in front of it, anything behind it. So what are we doing to the absolute value right now on the left-hand side? Alyssa?
I'm going to divide it by both sides by 8.
We would if 8 was touching the absolute value, but because it's being added, what's the inverse of adding? What? Yep, we're going to subtract the 8 from both sides. You guys, that was a great question. So she said we should divide, but 8 isn't touching the absolute value, so you wouldn't divide by it. Yes?
Is that a 4b or 48?
It's a 4b. I wrote it. My little b's look like 6's. I should have changed the letter. Okay, so now we're left with the absolute value of 4b plus 1 equals what? Is there anything in front of the absolute value? Is there anything behind the absolute value? So everything is contained to the absolute value. So can I solve this problem?
No, it can't be negative.
The absolute value of something will never equal negative. There isn't anything I can put in this absolute value that will come out to be -8. So again, this is no real solution. What questions do you guys have? Nothing?